So we are ready to start. And 1, 2, 3, we go live. I hope the video and audio is okay. Greetings to all. We're happy to see you. My name is Anastasia Fedorova, and I'm the manager of international sales at Educate Online. We have a wonderful speaker for today. It's Anastasia Kostina, an alumna of both the University of Exeter and the University of Bristol, and a higher education expert at Educate Online. She will help us to look at the life of an international student without any filters. And also will share her incredible educational experience and many aspects of studying abroad. So, hi Anastasia, how are you doing?
Hi, Anastasia. Nice to see you here, and thank you for your invitation and all of your kind words. It's really a pleasure to be here. I'm doing good. I hope you are too. And I hope that today I will be useful to everyone that's joining us in just sharing my story. Indeed, no filters. And if there's any questions coming our way, I'll be happy to share with any information that I have.
Oh, thank you. We appreciate you being here with us today, and I'm so looking forward to your stories about studying abroad. And I think it will be impressive and inspiring for our students. And before we start, I would like to share the agenda for today's meeting. Dear viewers, Anastasia will tell us today about the ins and outs of education abroad and international students' life. Next, we discuss student clubs, teaching methods and assessments, global traditions and celebrations. After that, Anastasia will share how you can connect with potential employers as early as your freshman year. And we are going to talk about the treasure trove of opportunities at on-campus career fairs. So I anticipate it will be a fruitful and enjoyable meeting. And I suppose we are ready to start.
Yes, let's go for it.
So can I ask my first question, Anastasia?
Yes, of course, I'm ready.
And so my first question is a predictable one. How did you decide to study at the university abroad?
The decision to study at the University of Abroad was a pretty natural one for me because I first moved to a school abroad. So I think here I will just answer in general the question of how did I decide to move abroad. And the decision to move abroad was due to the fact that, first of all, I was always interested in different languages and cultures. As soon as it became apparent that when you started studying different languages, I was always the person that was interested in studying more and learning more, and I was interested in history and literature. So it was quite a clear path for me. And apart from that, I had quite a lot of support from my parents, especially my father. He himself moved away from home at a very young age, even though he moved within the country, but I had the influence from him. And both of my parents made it very clear to me, that this is an opportunity that I can try to go abroad, such an exciting thing to learn about many cultures, meet amazing people. But in case I didn't like it or I wasn't, even sure about it, I knew that I could always come home, and I would always be welcome back. And I would always have the opportunity to have my normal life. So why not try and do something extraordinary? And yes, so this is actually how we decided that I would go and study abroad.
It's really amazing. So, and many of our students are interested in pursuing an international education because it will allow them access to all universities worldwide. However, they frequently are unable to decide whether to begin their studies in the British, American, or Canadian educational system. So, could you please tell us how did you choose the most appropriate educational system for you?
Mm-hmm. So I think when it came to choosing the educational system for me, it wasn't as much about the educational system itself, rather than understanding where I would like to be positioned. So at the point when I moved, I was 14. So I didn't want to go as far as maybe the US or Canada. This is really not a thing nowadays because you can study online and get your degree. It doesn't really matter. You should pay attention to what suits you more. But even then, I followed international baccalaureate, So a degree that actually allowed me to go to many different routes for university. But when I was considering university options, I really liked living in the UK. I liked the culture and I liked the international aspect of living in the country. It was quite a good balance for me between the British culture. I actually quite enjoyed the weather as well, which might be a bit controversial because many people think that the British weather is not so nice. But for me, I like the clouds. And, I like wearing layers, so I always thought it was so cozy. So I like that, and I also liked the universities that I did, that I attended, and the degree that I did. So I did a degree in law. I always knew that a degree in law would be something, something so fundamental, and British law is famous for many, many things. So I decided to go for that educational system. Yeah.
Yeah, and why did you choose this university specifically?
So the university. So I did my bachelor's at the University of Exeter, and when I was picking universities, it was quite a difficult task to do it. So actually, because there's such a huge amount of universities that you can choose from, and I also wasn't quite sure how to pick the appropriate five, because at UCAS you can only apply for five. And what helped me was actually that I visited Exeter before, and so I knew the university. I had quite an attachment to it, but also I knew that the university was very adequately ranked. It had quite a high ranking, and I also knew that the predicted grades that I have would probably allow me to get enrolled into the university. But here I also had the help of my counselors at school. So we had the head of year 12 and year 13, the specific teachers that were specifically working with us on getting our university admissions in, and they helped us with deciding what these five universities should be. I can understand that for many students it might be very confusing which universities to pick. So here we can act as this counselors that guided us. I know that we have plenty of schools that can help with the process, but also we have the Department of Higher Education as well that can put we can put ourselves in the shoes of these college counselors and help our students to decide what is best for them, of course based on the resources that we possess.
Yeah, and what about consulting? You were aware that after you have decided on your university, an equally challenging period of admissions begins. So, can you tell us about what obstacles you encountered while applying to your dream universities and while studying abroad?
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest challenges was actually adequately understanding what universities I'm suitable for, because I think at the age of 15, 16, so even 17, you're maybe not as confident, and you also don't really know your strengths. So you're a bit scared to jump too far and then not get into any university. That is literally the biggest fear that you might have, that, oh my God, what am I going to do in case I don't get to any university. Now that I'm some years later, I understand, oh, even if I didn't get into any universities, which was not the case at all, I actually had offers from all of the universities that I applied for, nothing would happen. But at that point you're so scared. So it was about deciding which universities to apply for, and a little bit also just being diligent with the process, because you have so many other things to do. You have to worry about your studies, you have your friends, you have family, you want to juggle all of that, but then suddenly having your university applications as well, it's something that can cause a little bit of stress, because first of all you're not sure what to do, and because you're not sure, you kind of get in your head and you start to procrastinate, and it's all not so good. So I would say that it was not being aware of the process, and here as well it was the help of the counselors that helped, but also a little bit putting my foot forward and creating a plan of a step by step kind of process, where I knew, oh, this is my deadline, and this is what I need to do by this deadline, and this is what I need to do by this deadline, and being a little bit more diligent with it.
No, this is a great strategy, very interesting, and I believe useful to our viewers. So let's move on to the learning process. You mentioned the difficulties you faced, and we are waiting for remarkable moments of studying. So tell us, please, about experience as a student in the UK in general.
So I think what I treasure the most from my learning experience in the UK, of course, yes, the knowledge and all of the lectures and just the experiences that I had, but most of all, and something that is stands out and it's still close to my heart, is just how what an international environment it was. Just the fact that now, already 10 years later from finishing my university, I have all of these people that are my friends, and I have my friends in Mexico, in Hong Kong, in all kinds of European countries. So whenever we kind of come together in some point in the world, it really barely happens because it's quite difficult to put us all together. But when you do, it's something so nice because okay, yes, we've grown up since then, and we all have our different paths. Not everyone that studied law became a lawyer like me, but we come together and we have something that we share, but we are also so different, and we can enrich each other in the ways which are just incredible. So I think for me, it is really just the connections that I made with so many interesting, valuable people that I still treasure in my life.
I find it very interesting and exciting to meet different people and communicate with them. So, do you remember any amusing or fascinating stories from your lessons?
So, particular amusing stories are fascinating. I think what was really fascinating for me is kind of the respect and the responsibility that the teachers put on us. So, imagine you're a fresh student, so you're in your first year of studies, you have just finished school. And yes, I went to a boarding school, so I was living, well, independently, let's say, but I was still very much looked after by the school, my house parent and everything. But suddenly you arrive to university and you're on your own, but also your teachers, they treat you suddenly as an adult. And yes, it can seem a little bit daunting, but from at the same time, it was quite a refreshing thing to speak to these professors, honorable professors that went to Oxford, Cambridge, Harvard, Asian universities, just amazing people, people that are writing laws, and you speak to them and they speak to you as an equal. So that was really fascinating for me because they treat you with so much respect. And I think one of the still most fascinating things that we did for me was when we went to the courts and we saw law in action. That was really, it was. I did that, first year of university, so really a long time ago, but it's still something that stands out for me because I really saw the process, and yeah, it's something that I particularly enjoyed. Yes, it's not a funny moment maybe for some people involved in the process, but it was really something that was fascinating for me. And I think it's a great example of how the universities abroad, they really try to put as much practice as possible into the curriculum. So once again, we were first year students, we were at university for 3 months, but already at that point we could see this is what the process is like. It was actually for mm, it was for the course that was called fundamentals of law or something like that. So it was really the introductory course where we learned how the process is, and then we had to write an essay about it. So that was a bit of a less fascinating moment, but the court visit itself was great.
So yeah, and I have to ask this question, and it also will be related to the field of support from universities. So how do universities support their students?
The universities support their students in a myriad of ways. I mean, it's so important for the university to know that the student is taken care of because they do carry their brand, their responsibility for every student that attends. So it's from every direction. From an academic direction, you always have your tutor that you can come to. Yes, you have to be somewhat active, proactive in your actions. So in case you have a problem, they would probably expect you to come and speak to the tutor instead of the tutor coming to speak to you. That normally happens in like really cases where something is really going wrong. But they are so welcoming. So in case you feel a slight issue, you are expected to come. They have office hours, and you can tell them anything. They are not judgmental. It's their point to help you in your problems. So they're very likely to be very understanding and very helpful with what they do. And so yes, this is the academic part. And then if we're talking about the extracurriculars, most of the campuses are equipped with amazing things. So sporting equipment, this is both for your physical and mental health. This is really great. They have all kinds of things that they support. So on campus of my university, so the campus of Bachelor of Exeter, where I did my bachelor's degree, we even had a club that was for the people that love Harry Potter. So it was really all kinds of things that you could be involved in. And university kind of, they promoted that. So they even, facilitated it in terms of monetary value, but also just, you could express yourself in a way that you thought was best for you. So this is the extracurriculars, but also you have obviously the physical and mental health support through the health office. So that's always available on campus of most universities. You have your medical team that wants to help you in case you suffer physically or mentally. There's someone that is there to support. So it's really, yes, I did mention that you're kind of an individual and you're becoming an adult. But in case at some moments you fall through and you need some extra support, you definitely have it from around you.
Yeah, it's amazing to see and to hear how universities try to create a friendly atmosphere for all students,
Mhm.
how they aid with during the whole process of education. So yeah, and my last question: what advice would you give to our students who have been dreaming about international education?
So, in terms of advice, I think there's plenty of advice that's possible to give, but I think the first advice is do not be scared. I know it's a scary process, but don't be scared. Really look at the hard facts. Look at the first step that you need to take. Normally, the first step is really not so scary. Sometimes the first step is just to write out what you currently have. Just look at your grades, look at your English level proficiency, look at the extracurriculars that you're doing, and just think about it. You don't even have to do anything today. You might find an amazing opportunity in a couple of months for some volunteering that enriches your profile, or you might start looking at the university options. But really, just look at your current state, and from there on, you can little by little decide the steps that you need to take in order to succeed. And what is also very important to know that when we're talking about education abroad, there's just so many options available. So there's definitely a fit for you, whatever shape or form you come in. You will definitely find a university that suits you already at your point, point A. In case you wanted to go maybe sometimes to university that's a bit out of reach for you right now, you can do some steps that are definitely going to take you to that spot. You just have to once again put down a little plan and follow it in order to succeed. So I think the first advice is don't be scared, and the second advice is just create a plan and follow it.
It's a great strategy. Thank you for sharing with us such amazing advices. And can I ask my last question? How can Educate Online help students with the university admission process?
Well, so we can help with many things. I think it doesn't even need to start with the admissions process. It can start with getting your degree at a British school, or Canadian school, or US school, which definitely increases your chances of getting into a university abroad. So we can do that. We can help people to increase their skills in terms of their languages. So if a person needs to, up their level of English, this is something that we can definitely do very easily. But if it comes to university admission, so say a person is already ready to apply for universities, we can do everything. We can find the universities that are suitable for the child. We can help them with collecting the documents, with redacting motivation letters or some other documents that are necessary for the admission. We can help with filling out the profile. We can help with housing and with, in case someone is interested in scholarship opportunities, we can kind of look at their profile and see if they're suitable for any scholarships, and then find them the scholarships that they can apply for. So it's really the whole process from finding the university that is suitable for you to get it to stepping foot on campus of that university and already realizing that your dream is here. So we're here for the whole process.
Yeah, I agree with you. And so that concludes my questions for you. It was a pleasure to meet you and hear about your learning experience. Thank you for sharing such valuable information with us. And I'm absolutely convinced that it will help a lot of students enroll in their ideal university and complete their educational objectives.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to be here, and thank you for all of these wonderful questions.
So yeah, and we have a great option. Our viewers can leave their questions in a special box below, and we will definitely look at all your questions after the live stream and give you answers to all your questions in a written form. So, dear viewers, I would like to remind you that you can also see our contacts on the screen now. We will be happy to help you to find the best program for your students. So we will wait your messages, and moreover, we attach the link for booking meeting below our video. And so feel free to arrange the meeting with the representative of Educate Online. Looking forward to meet you. Thank you again for your listening. It was a pleasure being here today, and hope to see you soon. Thank you very much for your time. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.